Hey, what's going on, people? Nice to be back. This is video number 3 of me discussing Batman, the game once more. Again, going with the title, Batman Arkham Legends. This video is probably going to be a lot shorter because I'm only going to cover what I think should be side missions for the game. Now, I've already gone a little bit into what I think should be side villains thrown in there. So I guess that would be some of the side missions. I'm only going to touch on the 3 villains I chose for being extras and not being 100% part of the main story of the game. And I feel that that's a good spot to start, and then I'll just explain maybe 3 additional other minor stuff that could happen, like random crimes. So let's get started. First, I want to start with Clayface. His side mission, I feel, should be a lot more to do with Batman's crime-solving skills, his detective work. So it would be very heavily used with the detective vision mode, and I think it would be best to expand upon how they worked it in Arkham Origins. I think that was probably the best version of the detective vision that I'd seen in a long while. Not to knock what happened in Arkham Knight. That was a nice expansion on it too, with the deep tissue scan and whatnot. But I believe that Clayface would offer that exact type of gameplay a much needed refresher, because now you'd have to try to piece puzzles together to figure out who's committing these crimes. But obviously right now you know it is Clayface I'm talking about. But if it was in-game and you didn't know that, you'd be getting pretty confused because none of the pieces would be adding up. You thought you knew what was going on with these crimes, like maybe they were murders or certain robberies even. From chemical plants, or even some robberies that involved Daggett Industries. There's another guy you can throw in there. But yeah, I think that using him for that would be real good, and his final boss battle situation, let's face it, he really deserves one because he's unique. Should be something a little similar to what happened in Arkham City, but at the same time, you want to try expanding and doing some slightly different stuff. So I think it should take place within the very chemical plant that makes the product that created him, which would make the fight a lot more interesting, I think, because he could basically expand himself more into a major monstrosity as opposed to what he was in the first one. Although that was exceptionally good. He looked phenomenal. I just was blown away by how he looked. And you could basically have that be the one side mission where a building actually comes down, around them. That would be something really cool, I think. It'd be the first side mission, I think, where anything like that actually happened. You've had plenty of crazy stuff happen in side missions, but I don't think there's been one where a building just came tumbling down. But yeah, that would be what I think Clayface's gameplay should be like, dealing with more crime solving as opposed to beat 'em up situations, which seems to happen a lot in the game. And again, we're going into another character who I think would also benefit from that, which is Scarface and the Ventriloquist. Again, right here, this could be a string of robberies, possibly related to the crime lords of the city. Like, they've been getting ripped off. You could even have some of them getting knocked off for all you know. And Batman just trying to figure out who's doing this. His first initial thought is maybe it's the Penguin, but no, he's been getting hustled too somehow on some certain fronts that he's got going on. And absolutely nobody in the city knows who the hell's doing it, and that would be your mission. Figure out who's doing this and make it stop. Last thing you need is a new crime lord coming in trying to take the reins. Especially after you knock Black Mask off his throne, and now you got Falcone and Cobblepot kind of at war with each other. So yeah, that would be Scarface's thing, and I think that would benefit from like a lot of different factors for that little short story. It would definitely have the detective aspect again going on, but you would get some action too, because Scarface does have some of his goons, and of course you'd have some of the goons from the other crime families fighting Batman probably in the situations, because you know they don't want him messing with their turf either. Final confrontation though with Scarface, I don't see that really becoming a boss fight exactly. I see that going more like a small event thing, kind of like what happened with, God forbid, everyone hates this part, Deadshot in Arkham City, where it's just a quick moment, or even what happened with Hush. Everyone really hates what happened with Hush. But that just seems like the best way to do a Scarface final moment situation, where you disarm the puppet from the ventriloquist, thus cutting the threat completely in half, and bring that case to its close. But yeah, that's how that would go, I'd say. And the last villain I said I would put in the game would be Killer Moth. There it is. Almost lost it. And his thing would primarily be a Robin side story instead of a Batman side story, which would be a nice change of pace for the game, I'd say. And it would show a little bit, not much, of Robin's detective work, because you don't want to keep using that a lot throughout the game. But you want to give it a little bit for him so you can see that Batman did teach him, you know, how to do it. So he's not just bronze. He's got some brains too. And I think the fight should actually be a fight, like a real boss fight for him and Killer Moth. How to go about that? I think it should feel like a bit of a smaller version, if you will, of what happened with Firefly, if you could get behind that. And have it just take place within like a warehouse in Gotham City, as opposed to like the entire bridge or something like that. You know, just keep it a little small. But yeah, he would just be a new villain in town. He's trying to make his mark, you know, like the rest of them did. I'm not really entirely sure what you could have him doing. I guess you could go with the whole he's making like a chemical bomb of some sorts to threaten the city, or maybe just threaten City Hall, something like that. And just have Robin deal with that guy, because Batman's got bigger things going on. Or even have it be like, you know, I mean, say Robin was doing that while Batman was dealing with one of the other side missions or something like that. That way it feels more like Robin's doing things out there as opposed to Batman doing everything. Catwoman, as a playable character in the game, I feel her side missions should focus mainly on just stealing intel or even money from the crime lords of the city. Because let's face it, she doesn't pick sides. She does what she feels like doing, and if she feels like knocking those guys around for once, then she will. obviously she would deal with the Talons in the main game with Batman, and I think that would be like it for her. I don't think she'd do the League of Assassins, because I'm pretty sure she wouldn't put up a good enough fight against them. I know we've had her battle them in the fighting rooms of Arkham, and that was fine and all. But to have her deal with these kinds of characters throughout the entire game, I think that's a bit of a push. I think she could only handle one or two fights like that herself. Past that, it's really pushing her luck. But yeah, that's the side missions for her. And the random crimes of the game, I feel like that should be some of them be the Batmobile, and have it be the classic Batmobile, the one that, well, not classic is what I shouldn't say. Have it be the one that we saw in Arkham Asylum, but this time we actually get to drive that thing. And only have it for getting from point A to point B, primarily. But do give it some side mission qualities, not a lot, like they did in Arkham Knight. I did enjoy that somewhat, but even I found that it got very repetitive at some point. So the side missions for the Batmobile, I say you have him just chase down certain cars, or even a truck, smuggling drugs or stolen goods or something like that. And instead of shooting missiles and stuff like the tank did, this is the earlier Batman before he got intoxicated with Joker's blood and had him in his head, so he wouldn't have made his Batmobile with like weapons. There would be weapons on it, but it would be the kind that disarm or sabotage. That's the word I'm looking for. His enemies, as opposed to destroy them or really physically hurt them. So I think it would shoot batarangs out from it, but a different caliber of them because it's being shot out of it. It would definitely shoot grapple hooks too, like it need to get up a wall or pull something down. I think that feature should still be there. But don't have a lot of Batmobile battle situations. Just give us like I'm gonna say 10 total. Just 10. Keep it a small number. And have real bank robberies happen this time in the city. Have some, and here's another thing that you really need to have civilian people on the streets. I know that that's like a lot to ask right there, but have some civilians on the streets at night. Don't give a reason for why everyone's inside, at least right away. If a terrorist threat gets made to the city, which is what the game is going to basically have happen in the main story, then you can take people off the street. But I think early on in the game, have there be game sprites of civilian characters walking around when it's just getting dark, or it's still early enough in the night that people can be out. And I think that there's one other thing that should happen in this game, which a lot of people are probably not going to agree with, but I feel like it should happen. Let there be female thugs this time. I've noticed that there's no female thugs throughout all of your trip in every Batman game. There's just no female thugs at all. It's all guys. I just don't find that to be a true factor. I know for real life situations here, there are female criminals out there. There are thieves. There are murderers. There are hustlers. There's all kinds of female criminals in the real world. So I feel that there should be some female criminals in the game itself, and not just main villain criminals, but side flunky criminals too. So yeah, I think there should be some of them in the other gangs, which would be a nice change of pace. The last one I think I should talk about is what kind of acrobatical side missions you could do, like they did with the AC training. I think you should do that again, but this time have it a little different. Where you chase somebody across the city as opposed to just going through hoops and stuff. And the best person, I think, for a flight test battle through Gotham City, a flight chase slash battle, would be Owlman himself. Now, that wouldn't really be a side mission. That'd be like the culmination of your flight simulator training throughout the game. And flight mission situations of Batman's cape. This would be your ultimate test of your gliding capabilities. You would actually be going after someone who's gliding through the air as well, and the primary mission is to try to catch him. Which would, I think, be a really good thing to have for a change. It would definitely push the envelope. But yeah, that's it right there. Side mission details given, and nothing else to be said. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Leave comments if you want to, and share this video with anyone who you think may like it. Like it yourself, if you please. I just do this because I feel like doing it, guys. Okay, it's up to you what do you do from here. So till the next one, which is going to be the last Batman game video that I talk about, I'll see you guys. You have a really good night.